Hey, Wes here. Thanks for joining me today. Busy day today, got a lot going on. I plan to fire this canteen. This is my tortoise and hair canteen. So I'm excited to get this done. I did some little bit different painting techniques on it. And I'm going to try and create a blush on this using some peat moss or peat that I have saturated with salt. And I'm going to do that a little bit differently. And the big thing though is I have a barbecue smoker thing that I got from my neighbor, $5, and I'm going to try and turn that into a kiln. So let's get started. The last couple of firings I've had, I wanted to get this Hopi blush, and I did it with some organic material like peat or vegetable peelings that have been saturated with salt solution. And I put it in a can. This time I'm going to do it a little bit differently because I had kind of mixed success. I have some tin foil here. I'm going to wrap it up in the tin foil and see if that is a better way to make that all happen. This is the smoker. Typically it is used for smoking ribs and things like that, which would be delicious. But my goal today is to turn this into a kiln, and I've taken all the guts out of it, and I will show you how I will load it up with charcoal with the goal of being able to fire pottery. First of all, here is the top. I cut a hole out of the very top to create ventilation. What I want to do is get as much draft through this as I possibly can. And then here's the inside of it. You can see there is a grate here for your ribs, but I'm going to put my pottery on that, and it's going to sit above the flame. Normally when I fire, pottery is surrounded by charcoal or wood. In this case, this is going to be more like one of those ancient Roman kilns. All of the heat is going to come from behind or from below the pottery. So I'll show you more here in a minute, but I will fill the bottom of this with charcoal, and then all the heat will come up to hopefully get hot enough, and that is my biggest concern, that this will get hot enough to actually fire the pottery. And then I have a lid here that I can put on the top if I need to shut it down or to vary the amount of opening here, because the draft I think is really going to be critical in making this thing work. Here is an access door. The fire will be down on the bottom and the pots will sit here, and so there isn't going to be any charcoal covering the pots themselves. And then what I have done is created a brick base here. Part of this is just to protect the patio, but also this inner part is to raise the charcoal up. I don't want it to be too far down. And I've also created gaps here to make sure that there's a good supply of air that can come in to create the draft that I am looking for. I've mostly lumped charcoal here. Fill this thing up. These are the salt impregnated peat. Put these around like this. Right, I've got the fire going down below. Here's the pot, the hair, and the tortoise. Plan is to set him up like this. And if this works the way I expect it to, we'll get a pretty strong draft here. Fire's been going for just a few minutes. You can see the paint is burning off on the smoker, and the outside temperature on the metal is 450 Celsius. Well, so far not that great. The thing has been smoking quite a bit. It's sort of slowed down, but A lot of the smoke has been coming from burning the paint off of this thing, and I should have hit maximum temperature by now, and I see 550 Celsius, which is not enough. Well, this has been firing for at least 5 hours, maybe 6 hours, and I haven't opened it up yet, but I'm pretty sure it didn't work. When I tested the temperature, the highest temp I ever saw was 550 Celsius. Want at least 700, prefer 850. You can see here that the paint burned off up to about this point, and this is where the charcoal was. So it really just didn't get hot up above the charcoal, and I think it just didn't have enough circulation, maybe not enough charcoal. Maybe I didn't have enough holes on the bottom. I'm not really sure, and maybe it did turn out, but I really will doubt that it did. And hopefully I'll just be able to refire the canteen. So let's take a look inside and see what we get. The temperature of the pot inside is still about 150 Celsius, so that's pretty hot. One of the things that I noticed was it got a lot of ash over it. I'm not sure it did any harm, but it clinks. It's too hot to handle. I don't think the pot is damaged any. It can be refired, but it's not fired hot enough. So a quick review of the barbecue smoker kiln. I would not call it a success, but I wouldn't call it a complete failure either. You'll always learn something. So here is the hair and tortoise canteen. Good news is it's not broken. Bad news, it never got as hot as it should have, I don't think. I saw temperatures of 550 Celsius. I want 700 or more. Ideally for me, 800 or more. And so as a result, I ended up with a lot of carbon buildup on this. I wasn't expecting all the ash and everything in there, so I didn't use any sherds. So that is on me. The good news is with pots like this, you can refire them, and I really expect that I can burn off and get a better surface on this and see. I think it'll look a little bit better. So why didn't it get hot? Well, one, it didn't have any insulation around the metal. So if you look at the videos about people who build the garbage can kilns with propane torches, they use a ceramic insulation, and I think that would make a lot of difference. I've lost a lot of heat. Spent a lot of time burning off paint. I don't think that was necessarily a good thing. And I never got the draft, the circulation of the air that I was expecting. So can it work? I think so. If you dink around with it a little bit, it'll probably get better. Probably not going to bother with that, though. I have other methods that seem to work better than that. So in general, learn some things. Now, the other thing was, does it make sense to get the Hopi blush using peat wrapped up in tinfoil? Hard to know. I got some interesting blush on the back side here, but with all the carbon, it's just kind of hard to tell. But I can tell you that when I cleaned out the kiln, there was no evidence of any aluminum foil left over. It all got totally torched up. And so I'm going to try that again. I think that might work pretty well. So I'm going to refire this thing, and hopefully maybe I'll have an episode 2 here, and it'll turn out a little bit better. Thank you so much for showing up. Appreciate it. Thank you for those thumbs up and for the comments. All those kinds of things make a lot of difference for a little YouTube channel like this. And until next time, this is Wes, wishing you health, happiness, peace, and love. Take care. Bye-bye.